because it's hard. It's so damn hard to be down in that valley, feeling like everything is against you. If you're currently at this point in your business, where you're at that hard point, where you're just questioning, is this meant for me? Am I not made for this? And hear me out when I say this. Since 2 hours ago, I had this on my agenda to do, creating a podcast. 2 hours later, and I'm still creating the exact same episode. Because when you're so focused on that goal, automatically you become blinded to it. You might do things again that do not feel aligned to you, and therefore it doesn't go as smoothly. I have the self-awareness and I have to do it today no matter how hard it's going to be. My intuition is telling me I should be doing this. But did I not have the discipline to also stick with it, I would have not ended up doing it at all. So if you're currently at that point where you're struggling and you're unsure if this is right for you, you are at the verge of giving up, please just listen to me when I say, hey there, welcome back to another episode of the Stories to Remember podcast. I'm your host, Gitte, and today I want to be talking to you about something that I just went through, and it has to do with this podcast. So basically, since 2 hours ago, had this on my agenda to do, creating a podcast, and 2 hours later, and I'm still creating the exact same episode. So what happened was that the first 5 episodes, I just got cut out due to noises on the background, distraction, not feeling aligned with the message, so it stopped it. Then what happened is I basically just spilled half of my cup of coffee over me during my recording. So I decided to stop that one as well. Then while I was cleaning that part up and I went back to my desk, I, by accident, touched my cup with my knee, and the remaining left of coffee in my cup fell on the floor, so I had to clean that as well. So then I started recording the next one, and it was full in, 30 minutes in of talking, and all of a sudden, my laptop dies. And the recording was not saved. So, here we are. Next round. Next try. Fingers crossed it's going to be the right one. But while all of this happened, and while I was just waiting for my laptop recharge, I decided the topic of today's episode is going to be just about that. Discipline. Sticking with it, even when it gets hard. Because I know a lot of you out there having elements in their life that they want to change, are on that journey of transformation, have started their own business, and are sometimes just wondering, is this all for me? Should I keep on pushing? Why do things keep going the wrong way? Why is it not working out? And if I take the example of the story I just shared with you, I could have said, you know what, today is not my day. I'm going to stop recording, give it another try in a couple of days down the line. But I can't, first and foremost, because my next few days are fully booked and I don't have time to record a podcast. Secondly, the reason that I didn't give a chance to give up right now is because I know if I do, I will create a little story in my head that recording a podcast is going to be hard. And that it won't come easy and it won't come smooth. And once I start creating that story, it most likely will take a little bit of time before I might find the discipline again to get back to it and give it another go. And what most likely also will happen if I do that, or once I do that, that first new try is not going to be easy. And that's the whole point. Things aren't always going to be easy. But that doesn't mean that you should give up. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who is also, just like me, in her first year of business. And We're seeming to go through the same little flow at the moment where we're very much aligned on certain thoughts and certain things that are happening. And I discussed with her that every single time you want to make a change, and let's just take building a business as an example, you start from the ground and you have this great excitement, this great idea. So all of a sudden you go up, right? And you have this feeling of, oh yeah, this is exciting. I can do this and I'm really going for it. Then what happens, you start to make some movements, you take some action, and all of a sudden you start feeling yourself going down and down into a valley. Because what you're realizing is that maybe it wasn't as easy as that you were thinking in the first place. Once you're down in that valley, that's where a lot of people give up because it's hard. It's so damn hard to be down in that valley and feeling like everything is against you. So what people do is they either think, okay, this is not going to work out, I need a new ID, and they start from the beginning again. Or they think, okay, this isn't going to work, I'm not made for this, and they go back to a job again. They stick with it. And they know this is just going to be a moment in time and that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And they keep on moving. They keep on putting one foot in front of the other. They trust that no matter what they do, things will start to work out for them again. So they keep moving, and all of a sudden, that valley, they're walking slowly but surely out of it, and they go back up. Now they're at a point where they went through that cycle, they came out of it on the other end, and they go through the new cycle. But because they've already been through it once, the second time will be a little bit easier. Why? Because they've built the trust with themselves to stick with it even when it gets hard. Push through to it even when it doesn't come easy. And they know they can always pull themselves out again. So, if you're currently at this point in your business or life in general, where you're at that hard point where you're just questioning, is this meant for me? Is this what I need to do? Should I be doing something different? Should I just go back to that job? Am I not made for this? Then hear me out when I say this. You are. You had this thought and this dream and this belief in the first place that you could do it because it's meant for you. It's already yours. If you believe that, and if you truly, truly believe that and commit to that it's already yours, and you stay disciplined enough to just in the hard moments even keep putting one foot in front of the other, you can pull yourself out of it. And that's why today, even when it got hard to record this episode, even while I have all of these weird animal bites on my face and on my hands, and I did not look video ready, even when I've recorded already 5 episodes, all gone to waste, I still stuck with it. Why? Because I know it will get easier the more I do this. I know it will bring me to where I want to be if I keep doing this. And I just believe. I just have that mindset. And it's not just, I say just, it's not I have just. No, I've created this mindset that I can keep on moving forward, even if it doesn't look perfect, even when things just go wrong. Keep moving forward and things will fall into place. And that kind of brings me to this element of having self-awareness, having discipline, and listening to your intuition. There are 3 different elements that are also very much combined. And I think the reason, if we're going back to that little circle, and the reason why people give up in that valley is first, yes, maybe there is not a belief system in place yet that they believe they can get out of it. Secondly, they do not have the awareness that this is what they're going through right now and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. They do not have the trust that things will get better again. And they do not have the discipline to push through in moments when things get hard. So when we talk about transforming your life, I think there are a couple of elements that come with that. And I just touched on it. It's like the self-awareness and the discipline and following your intuition. And I think the discipline and the intuition come from self-awareness, really knowing yourself better than anyone else there can know you. And this usually takes a little bit of time. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not something that you can just enforce on yourself. Like, it's constantly, consciously deciding that you're becoming aware of your thoughts and your beliefs, and that you're checking in with your body throughout the day. How is it feeling? Why is it feeling that way? What can I do better so that it can feel better? And it's also about checking in with your soul. Like, am I following the path that I'm meant to be following? Is this what I want to be doing? And not just now, but also long term. You're building a future life. You're transforming your life for the better long term. So it's very important to know also what you want long term. We're constantly seeking for these quick fixes, right? Again, when we're talking about business, we're seeking the 10K a month after 1 month of being in business. Okay, great. That's a quick fix. You can get that 10K in multiple ways, but is that also what's going to make you happy from a soul level? Is that what you want to be doing? Do you think you can do this long term? And so it's important to ask yourself also why you're doing this and getting the awareness around there. So awareness goes from mind, body, soul connection. And you create awareness by journaling, by constantly, like I just mentioned, checking in with yourself. And the awareness will give you the answers of how you can move forward in certain elements and what the best way for you is to move forward. And once you have those answers, it's making sure that you have the discipline to keep on moving. And it's about checking in with your intuition from time to time. Discipline is there to make sure that you make it a habit, that there is no question about it anymore, that this is just who you are, what you do, which ultimately changes your identity as well. And the identity needs to change if you want to up level in life. And the intuition is making sure that you still feel connected with it as well. And I think it's a very important part where if you do things just for the sake of doing, and there's no real alignment with why you're doing it or what the reason behind it is, then we might not always be on the right path. That's my 2 cents on it. I've always found it very, very important that there is an alignment between who I want to be at this point, who I want to become, and the actions that I'm taking. If I do things that do not feel natural to me to the extent of, okay, I feel a real push against it, like there is this knot in my whole body that I do not want to be doing this, then there is something that is out of alignment. And my intuition will tell me that. My intuition will then also tell me if it's due to there is a fear and there is a deeper layer that I first need to figure out and create self-awareness around, or if it's simply because it's not the right path for me to take. And if you can combine listening to that and then connect that back to once you have found out the reason and the right path for you, being disciplined to put in the right actions to get there, then you found, in my opinion, the sweet spot. because then it's about the process of getting to your goal. And it's not so much about the goal anymore. And I think that's something we all need to aim for a little bit more. Because when you're so focused on that goal, it is automatically, you become blinded to it. You might do things again that do not feel aligned to you, and therefore it doesn't go as smoothly. Or it's harder to stay disciplined with it because there's this constant fight or this constant battle internally happening. So, yeah, I think whatever you do and whenever you want to transform, you're going to have to combine these things, like create the self-awareness first. And if we talk about this exact topic that I just shared with you around me in this podcast, like the self-awareness for me is, I know that if I did not do it today, I probably will keep procrastinating because I know I'm going to create that story. And even if I'm aware of that story and therefore I might be able to alter it, it takes me a lot more energy to alter it in a week's time than altering it right now and make that decision. So I had the self-awareness of, okay, no, you cannot push this out. You cannot do this another day. You're going to have to do it today, no matter how hard it's going to be. And it wasn't hard because my intuition is telling me that I should not be doing this. My intuition is telling me I should be doing this. I know this is what I need to do. But did I not have the discipline to also stick with it, then I would have not ended up doing it at all. So then I would have gone against my intuition. So these three elements go combined with one another. And I think that's a very important part whenever you do want to change something in your life. And it's about combining all of these elements, connecting your masculine to your feminine energy, and constantly having that yin yang going around. Like, you can be fully in your intuition, which is great, and just letting you be guided by your intuition. But you cannot just sit there and just take it in. There is a certain action you need to take. Whenever you take action, that's a discipline. That's the masculine energy. And taking one time an action, that's one thing. Continue to take action is another thing. And the continue taking action is what gets you out of a valley back onto seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So if you're currently at that point where you're struggling and you're unsure if this is right for you, you are at the verge of giving up, then please just listen to me when I say that you're meant for this. Your intuition guided you here. Like, the fact that you've been dreaming about it is your intuition. Listen to that. But then just stick with it. Be disciplined enough to stick with it and to check back in to your intuition. Ask your intuition, why is it so hard? Why am I making it so hard? And if you sit in silence, get rid of all of the distractions when you're asking it, then the answer will come. Once you have your answer, you can alter either the way you go about it, or you can alter your path if needed. And then again, stay disciplined with it. You see what I'm doing here? Like, I'm creating the self-awareness by using my intuition. Using my intuition, I can then also know what to do and take the discipline to act on it. So yeah, I think I just wanted to share this story with you today of how much of a struggle it was for me to create this podcast today. And I'm not feeling sorry for myself. Like, this needed to happen. I'm not a victim. Everything I'm creating myself, and it's my fault why I made it so difficult today. Like, I guess the answer is to it I don't even know what the answer is to it. I haven't asked. Like, didn't need it to ask. I just knew I was making it myself difficult, and to get out of it, I just needed to record this podcast today. So that's what I've done. Now I can move on with my day after this, which is a nice feeling. That's what gives you the freedom. I knew I sticked with it. I knew I needed to do this. I sticked with it. Now I can rest in peace today and do the rest of my job. Do not have to think about it anymore because it's done. I can move on, and next week it's a new round. So yeah, I hope that if you're listening to this and if you're in the same position and if you've been wondering why this is happening, that you can just check in with yourself and get yourself the answers that you need in order to move forward. And let me know as well if you are at that verge right now and you are struggling and you're using these tips that I've just given you. Like, reach out to me. Tell me, how did it go? How did things went? Are you seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? Do you know how to move forward now? And if not, then reach out as well. Like, I'm here to help. I'm here to guide you on this journey. All right. Well, thank you for listening as always, and wishing you a lovely rest of your day. Wrap up another episode on the Stories to Remember podcast. I want to thank you for being a part of our community. It's your support and engagement that keeps me going. I would also like to request a small favor. If you found value in this episode and enjoyed our podcast so far, I kindly ask you to subscribe. Your subscription not only means the world to me, but also helps me to expand the reach, connect with more incredible guests, and continue sharing inspiring stories. Furthermore, your engagement and feedback are invaluable to us, so please do share your thoughts on the podcast. For now, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay inspired, stay motivated, and I can't wait to have you with us next time. See you then.